Welcome back to Random Crossing New Horizons. I'm Darling. I should see what's going on a lovely island of Fawnhollow today. Well, is my voice back to normal? Is my voice back to normal? I don't know. Dare I try a squeak? Hello. Okay, almost. You know, the range is getting higher and higher. It's not quite there yet, but basically indistinguishable, I would say, at the moment. But yeah. Well, what should we talk about today? I don't really know what to talk about. Oh, you know what we could talk about? We could talk about the Super Mario movie. I'm not going to talk about it in its entirety because I'm sure I will go probably, go watch it at some point and then actually have an episode about it in its entirety. But the trailer dropped for it two days ago maybe, and we can talk about it. No, wait, hold on, it was ages ago, wasn't it? Now I think about it. It was almost a week ago. It was on last Thursday, wasn't it? And I remember because it was during our writing club. But anyway, good evening, everyone. Right now in Fawnhollow, it's 8:21 p.m. on Monday, October 10th, 2022. Wait, hold on. I need to cough. Excuse me. Stream Deck's not working. Okay, well, sometimes it do be like that. So we had to go to the default old scroll up. But yes, the Super Mario movie trailer dropped last Thursday. If you haven't seen it, go see it if you want, or not. I mean, I'm not going to boss you around and do what you want, to be perfectly honest. You might be like, hey, dear darling, are you like super excited for it? I wouldn't say I'm super excited for it, but I will say I'm certainly intrigued by it. Before the trailer dropped, I was like, oh, Super Mario movie, interesting. My initial reaction was like, it's about time, you know, something like this happens. I always feel like a lot of video game franchises are really should capitalize on the fact that a lot of them would be really good as like watchable media properties, and I think Riot Arcane certainly goes to show that if you put the care and love in for it, you know, actually put like some effort into it, it's really good. And well, I think Riot Arcane certainly probably is an outlier where Riot Arcane was insanely good, I think, but yeah, a lot of video game companies don't want to do that because I guess it's a risk or whatever, but hopefully now people are those companies are much more willing to take a risk now, because I want to see more video game movie adaptations of video games, or TV, no, maybe not TV series necessarily, it kind of depends. I don't really watch TV series, but of things I like personally, because I like animation. You know, I've said it before, I'll say it again, I like animation. Anyway, so when the Super Mario movie was announced, obviously I was like, oh, it sounds interesting, you know. Of course, I like Nintendo games. Mario games are fine, you know. I would say they're mostly inoffensive. I can't really think of a Mario game where I'm like, this blew me out the water or anything like that. I haven't played Mario Odyssey, to be fair, but I don't think Mario Odyssey is really my sort of game. But I would try it at some point, you know. Maybe I would love it, maybe I wouldn't, I don't really know, but big exploration games tend to not be something which I'm like, ooh, super drawn towards. But Mario games are always genuinely quite fun, like sort of party games, sort of things like Mario Kart, fantastic fun. Super Smash Bros, I guess, is kind of like a Nintendo IP rather than just a Mario one. Mario Party, of course, great fun. So the fact there's a Mario movie coming out, I mean, Mario is a very popular franchise in of itself. It's very much something I was like, you know, I'm interested. And then the trailer dropped, and I'm not going to say I'm not interested, and I'm not going to say I'm more interested. I would be like, seems kind of cool. Excuse me. Seems kind of cool. Especially, I will say, the animation looks quite nice. I'm glad there's quite a bit of effort into it, which makes sense because Nintendo have some pretty good like animations and cutscenes. I think in the past, like Mario Odyssey has some pretty good ones. Even Galaxy had some good ones for its time, right? They had good cutscenes in the past, and you know the whole Mario sort of style is quite reasonably timeless, I would say, just due to the fact that cartoony style things tend to age better than non-cartoony things, in my opinion, because they're stylized. The style is what's aging them, not rather than the realism, I suppose, to things. And I say that because, you know, I always think back to like a David Cage game, or of course, sorry, Quantic Dream games, because David Cage apparently not a very nice person, where like Heavy Rain, and I was like, whoa, when it first came out, I was like, whoa, this looks so realistic, and then now you look at it, you're like, this is a joke. And then Beyond Two Souls came out, and I was like, whoa, this is so realistic, and now you look at it and you're like, well, it's not a joke so much, but you're like, eh. And then like Detroit Beyond Human came out, and I was like, whoa, this is insane. And now, you know, probably I haven't looked at it again, but I'll probably look at it and be like, meh, that's right. Which I guess is a good thing, but if anything, it's a sign of technology progressing, should I say. But yeah, the Mario trailer dropped, and I was glad to see that animation looked pretty cool. If you haven't seen it, of course, it's basically Bowser storming the penguins from Super Mario 64, I think. Castle, Bowser doing Bowsery things. Who really knows? And I loved that section of it. I was like, wow, this is fantastic. You know, Jack Black actually absolutely kills it as Bowser, surprisingly so. And I didn't expect it to work as well as it did, because I thought, you know, Jack Black's obviously a very jovial guy. He's very sort of like light-hearted, funny. He's very much an entertainer, isn't he? But I wasn't sure if he'd be able to pull off a sort of like, I know Bowser's certainly got very strong goofy elements to him, but he is still quite an imposing, arrogant figure in the first place. I was like, I don't know, doesn't really seem like Jack Black's sort of character, but honestly I think he did great. I don't know who the penguin was, but I thought the penguin was also really good as well. I found him very entertaining. The penguin and army in general, like, do you yield? It's fantastic. Obviously it's very cheesy. I'd expect a Mario movie to be quite cheesy in the first place. It's not the most serious franchise that Nintendo have. It's very sort of very light-hearted, very fun. I'd imagine it's going to be quite formulaic, perhaps, when it comes to story and all that sort of thing. I wouldn't be surprised if it's just, you know, very sort of kid-friendly, very sort of sanitized sort of movie. But yeah, that part was fantastic. The animation was great. It was very entertaining, I thought. Clearly I need a sip of water or something, but keep coughing now. And then we get on to the meat and potatoes, which is basically, if you are on social media, the only thing people are really talking about is the fact that Chris Pratt as Mario is, well, divisive, shall we say. You know, of course, the casting choices, and I'm basically every casting choice I went, to, because I was surprised that Nintendo, well, sort of surprised and not surprised, because it's very common in on animation for whatever reason, well, not for whatever reason, there's obviously a reason which I'll explain. Excuse me, that, because voice acting is a separate industry as opposed to on-screen talent and that sort of thing. You know, there's big voice actors and voice actresses, you know, and like notable ones like Tara Strong and, you know, other people, Jim Cummings, I think, is that his name? I forget his name off the top of my head, but, you know, these people who are like absolute titans in the voice acting industry, Mel Blanc, wait, hasn't he died? Wait, did he die? I'm not sure. I think he might have died. Anyway, all of these people who are like absolute titans in the voice acting industry, they are never really chosen for these animated projects, like these big movie ones, like Disney ones, and that sort of thing. And often literally the case is because big celebrities, on-screen celebrity talent is tend to be more famous than voice actors talent, because voice actors are known for their voice, while on-screen talent are known for their looks and that sort of thing, which I guess people make a stronger association with. And so a lot of time in these movies, you'll see it all the time in Disney movies, especially the voiced talent is just like famous people, like celebrities, or the famous on-screen actors. It started, I think it started in Aladdin with like Robin Williams as a genie, and then it sort of like kept on going and going from there. And sometimes I think it really works, of course. Like obviously there's an overlap between actors and voice actors, like with their skill set of being able to perform in some capacity. Sometimes it really works, sometimes it doesn't. A lot of the time, it's kind of dependent on the actual actor or actress themselves, but depending on how much like effort they put into it. I'm trying to think, I can't really think of one which is like particularly bad off the top of my head, but I'm sure some people will say some. I'm sure there's a list out there. Like good ones I can think of, like Inside Out was pretty good from what I remember. Like Amy Poehler as Joy, and I don't remember her name as Sadness, like Phyllis. I don't know if that's her character in like Parks and Rec's name or something, or that's her actual name. And the other emotions are pretty good as well, from what I recall. But I don't remember. No, Mindy Kaling, Bill Hader. I don't remember who Angle was off the top of my head, but I thought they were pretty good. But yeah, you know, Encanto's was pretty good as well, from what I recall. Like Mirabelle. So I was actually legitimately kind of surprised. Oh, well, the Star Island. I was legitimately kind of surprised that Nintendo did also follow the sort of celebrity route as well, because I would have thought that Nintendo, if any company would, if they made their own animated sort of movies, if any company would just stick with their voice actors that they know, it would have been Nintendo, but it wasn't. And it's also very strange because Nintendo characters have very, very iconic voices, established iconic voices already. Like, of course, Mario's a voice. If anyone knows any video game actors, it's probably Charles Martinet, the voice of Mario and Luigi, and maybe Wario as well, and maybe some few other things. I don't really remember, but he's very, very iconic in his role, and the fact that he's not playing Mario is, I'm not going to say it's necessarily a bad decision outright, because, you know, I understand the appeal of it, but I wonder how he feels about it personally. He probably doesn't want to say it, because otherwise, you know, maybe Nintendo will probably sort of narrow their eyes at him and be like, hey, you know, don't badmouth our decision. I'm sure he's probably slightly disappointed of that sort of thing, but, you know, I don't really know. It's the sort of thing I'd imagine if you're a voice actor or actress, you kind of expect at this point. You're kind of like, okay, yeah, you know, all the big companies, they want the big name celebs rather than, you know, us people who've worked in this industry for years, which is a shame, I would say, but, you know, I guess it's not really up for me to decide. And anyway, a lot of the times the actors and actresses, they tend to do a reasonable job, at least if they put in some effort, you know, like, if, what the heck? Okay, so we're not going to get many star crystals out of it. It's not that we really need any. I think we've gotten so many many times over now. Yeah, it sort of depends about how much effort they put in. I mean, like, Jack Black as Bowser is fantastic. But it's, yeah, I don't know. What do I think of Chris Pratt's Mario voice? I think I would say that I cannot really distinguish it from Chris Pratt's usual voice. It just sounds like Chris Pratt to me, but, you know, I'm not an expert in Chris Pratt, nor apparently he's got like a New York accent on, like a slight New York accent towards the end. I don't know how true that is, but, you know, I don't really have much of an opinion on Chris Pratt as an actor. Do I like him in movies? What's he in? He's in Guardians of the Galaxy. He's fine in that. Lego Movie. He's fine in that, I would say. What do I think of him as a person? I don't know. I don't really tend to get all too riled up with him. Not riled up, but involved in celebrities' own personal life, because honestly, I just kind of don't care. But certainly he's got his fair share of controversies, shall we say. I forgot what else I was going to say. But yeah, anyway, how's his performance? I don't know. I guess it does kind of feel like it leaves something to be desired. I've seen some people, you might have your own opinions of it, it's totally fair, everyone's got different opinions, and everyone's got their own sort of taste. I've seen some people be like, they want like the genuine, like, it's me, Mario sort of voice. That was terrible, I'm sorry. I didn't commit to the bit, but, you know, the actual, like, proper, like, in-game Mario, oh my god, Mario voice for the entire thing. I personally don't quite want that extent. I think just having an Italian accent itself would be fine. I don't think it needs to be quite the overly cheesy theatricalness of the actual in-game Mario voice, because I think that would probably be quite overwhelming for an entire movie, is my opinion. But, you know, you are free to disagree. But at the very least, I feel like he probably should have an Italian accent, because that's kind of what he's known for, and at least, you know, have some, at least a faint homage to that voice, the voice styling and the way he speaks in the games, rather than, you know, just like a normal guy. It sounds like. Anyway, I made my prediction about that Mario movie, that it's going to be the case where it's not actually Mario the character, it's actually someone, like a real life person, accidentally got transported to the Mushroom Kingdom and is now finds himself in Mario's body or something, which is why he just sounds like a normal person. Because that seems to be like quite a common trope here and there. Now it's interesting to think about as well, because Detective Pikachu was a movie that came out, and it was Ryan Reynolds, right? He did a voice of Pikachu, but there wasn't much sort of like stink about the fact that Pikachu had just like a normal sort of, I'm not saying normal voice, but like a relatively human voice. But I suppose then you would be like, well, that's because Pikachu isn't a human. Pikachu just like is an animal in the first place. So, you know, I think everyone was sort of in agreement that you can't just have Pikachu going Pikachu. still can't do the skills right now. Throughout the entire movie, that's just like a bit much and would also not really make much sense. Okay, fair enough. And also, I suppose it's kind of explained in law spoilers, I suppose, for Detective Pikachu, where it's actually just like, it's just some guy who got not guy, he's like a scientist or whatever, got like transformed into the Pikachu. So that's just kind of why he speaks like a human being. So I think this is certainly justification of that. Anyway, basically, for long and short, what I'm going to say is judging it from a purely like artistic and voice like a movie critic standpoint. You know, like step back from all the like whoever's behind the voice and that sort of thing, just like pure performance. I am not really going to cast many judgments, despite the fact I talked about it for about 15 minutes on his performance, because it was like 2 lines. I think it's a bit unfair to judge on such a tiny part, you know. Wait at least to see more, hear more of his voice before you go like, hey, you can't do something like that. But yeah, who was it as Toad? It was like, I always forget which Key, is it Key or is it Peele? I think it's Key, right? Yeah, no? Wait, hold on. Yes. Michael Key and Jordan Peele. Yes, okay. I think it's him doing Toad. I thought it was pretty nice, you know. I thought, because Toad's voice would absolutely be grating for an entire movie. And if you want any proof of that, go look up like the parody about some person's done where she sang the entire like pop songs in the voice of Toad. My favourite one is Chandelier. It's like Toad sings Chandelier. It's actually it's ear grating in the best way possible, is what I'd say. So I don't really know what to think of the Mario movie, let's say. I'm fully going to predict it's going to come out and it's going to be middling. I'm not going to say mid, because mid's now got connotations of basically kind of like bad now, I suppose, which is kind of feel like not the antithesis of mid, but it's not really what mid means. But I just got a hunch it's going to come out and it's going to be it's okay. You know, it's going to be it's not going to be particularly risky. It's going to be a very safe movie. The animations are kind of cool, and I think it would just be most notable just due to the fact that it's a video game movie adaptation, which is not horrible. You know, I'm going to have a guess. It's going to be slightly better than Detective Pikachu. That's my guess, and I'm going to guess that people when the movie comes out, are still going to be upset that Charles Martinet wasn't the voice of Mario, and they're going to be like, Chris Pratt did a terrible job. Will he? Won't he? I don't know. Who else is in it? Like Anya Taylor-Joy, right? She's Peach. I don't really know much about Anya Taylor-Joy. She's Queen's Gambit person, isn't she? I basically know nothing about her that I can think of, so I don't know if I have any expectations for that. But I am excited for Jack Black as Bowser. From what I've seen so far, I have good hopes for that. And for everything else, I will just bite my tongue until we see. At the very least, I think I'll like the animation for it. It's like it looks very faithful, of course, to the actual Mario game graphics themselves, but scale, you know, glamified up a little bit to fit a bit more of the movie, not movie aesthetic, but you know what I mean, like the grandioseness that a movie should be. And let me just hold on. I was just thinking, because I should record some episodes later after this episode. I'm just seeing what I need to. Oh my god! I just realised I haven't replied to comments for like 3 weeks. I'm really sorry if I'm really sorry about that. Just legitimately, I've just forgotten. Why is the Cuphead series so popular? 46 views for that one. What on earth? Like, 'tis a salty season. I don't know why that one's so popular randomly. Like random up to a cow's home is 57. Well, there's some other random Cuphead one which just got like a ton of views. Yeah, that's one. Have a Wish I Wish Tonight got 94 views. It's so random. Where are you all coming from? It's got more views than episode 1, which is insane to think about, because episode 1 is always normally the one which has the most. Also, 3 to 3 subscribers. So I don't know when that happened, but that's pretty fun. How long has it been since I've replied to comments? Okay, it's been just under 2 weeks. I'll either do it today or tomorrow. Probably tomorrow. I don't know if I'll do it today, but yeah, I don't know. So I will have tempered expectations for the Mario movie itself. What am I going to title this episode? Celebrity Voices, I suppose. Yeah, I mean, it's like celebrity voices, a lot of time they're hit or miss. Would I prefer like professional voice actors and voice actresses who, you know, like very well known throughout this sort of thing and very good at both putting on a voice and performing a voice? Yeah, probably, but you know, at the end of the day, I also understand the business side of it at the same time. Honestly, probably the best balance would be to have a bit of both. You know, some main characters be from, well, the voice. Well, I suppose the best world would be they would all be for the voice acting industry, but that's probably not very realistic. But you know, it'd be nice. It would be very nice if the actors who were chosen, who are not professional voice actors, were chosen for good reason. You know. But I guess that's not really, you know, my point to judge, because I don't really know most of the people very well in the first place, so who am I to judge if they're apt or not? But anyway, I'm going to round up this episode here, so if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Any likes, comments, subscriptions, shares are greatly appreciated. Join me Dear Darling Discord, follow me Twitter down below. Hope to see each other again, but for now, it's our farewell, so until next time, bye bye for now.